Hello SGD, and the last couple of days I put up a couple of videos looking at the casing stones on the pyramid, and so this is the northern side with the most preserved, but in the last couple of videos I showed how the majority of these have been very much restored. It's really only this stone and that stone that are sort of in, or also this one, that are in original condition following the excavations. But I was also looking at this pit cavern in there, and my initial thoughts were that it was an early attempt at forced entry. So when you go to the pyramid, that's the original entrance, but the tourist entrance is here. The forced passage, or Al-Mamun's passage, or robber's passage as it's called, that was a forced entry later on. And well, turns out that this fissure, but let's have a look at it first. So here are some old photos. Again, you can still see so much debris and rubble around the base of a pyramid, but it's this hole, this feature that it was curious. There's like another example. You can see that still like a lot of debris there on the side. So that's on the north side looking west, and you can see the debris there, but it's this fissure. Now we get a better view of it, sort of almost like looking down the hole, and you can see it there now. I should have, well, just the way it's shaped, it's not something that the way that you would cut it out, you would think it'd be more circular or squarish. It does look very natural in the way that it's shaped, so that should have been a sign, but I'll show you in a moment. So again, that's the main entrance, Al-Mamun's, or the forced passage, and there's so that casing stone. Got some arrows. Yeah, so that stone's that one there, and so the fissure is just underneath the tip of this red arrow, and because that's directly underneath the main entrance, I would have thought that that would be a early attempt to sort of get entry into the pyramids. Now the reason for that is, now if you look at the Khafre pyramid, that's the one second largest there, still with the casing stones on top. But every pyramid is slightly different, but if there was a standard type of design for the passages, it would be something like Khafre's pyramid, where the main chamber is below ground or just at ground level, and there's the red pyramid, the bent pyramid is different in that way, so it has passages going up high. But for typically speaking, the pyramids have an interior design something like Khafre's pyramid, and since they're always to the north, that would be the place where you would, if you're looking for an entrance, go to ground level, sort of dig down a little bit in the middle on the northern side, and that'd be the best place to enter. But you also see there was a forced entrance into the Khafre pyramid. So based on anyone who in the past, well, we know the entrance is on the north, tends to be very low, but the Great Pyramid is very different. It's quite unique in that way, where it's a lot of internal structures and they're quite high in regards to that. Now, the Bent Pyramid is very similar, but the Great Pyramid and the Bent Pyramid are more exceptions to the rule, and based on the standard design, you'd be looking more at Khafre's pyramid, where you have structures something like this, very low in design. So that's why I thought that this hole here was an early attempt to, let's dig down, we'll find the entrance tunnel, very similar in what way the other pyramids are designed. Okay, but there you can see, so that's the main entrance. So we'll compare that to, so the Grand Gallery, and then the descending passage, but the main entrance there, and the Al-Mamun's, or the forced passage. So that's the forced passage, but turns out this is not the case. And thanks again to Stefan T. He mentions pairing about the hole in front of a northern face, and then quote, "This was afterwards excavated to a depth of 47 feet, found to be a natural fissure in the rock. It had been originally filled up, covered over with masonry and concealed by pavement, from the pyramids of Giza, from actual survey and measurement, volume 1, plate 3. Now I'll put the link in the description. The New York Library has all the plates there, and it's not just the Great Pyramid, but Khafre Pyramid, a lot of interesting stuff there. The link will be in the description. But so here's one of the plates, And we'll get a close-up view. So if you focus, so again you can see the internals of the Great Pyramid. We focus in on this piece, and so you see the forced passage, or Al-Mamun's entrance, the proper entrance, and also he's traced out how high the debris used to be, but it's there's the casing stones and the fissure, so it's naturally there. And it's now a couple of days ago I found this photo because just to the north and to the east of the pyramid there's a steep bluff, like a sort of cliff, a drop off, very steep. Saw a really cool photo in regards to a natural big sort of crack running through there, but I wasn't able to relocate it. But again, that get an idea of the debris as well, so how high it was piled up before these excavations. And the main entrance I think is something like 56 feet above ground level. So yeah, you're looking at about 50 plus feet of debris around the base of the pyramid on the northern side. Quite a bit to tidy out. So if you were that's the north side, and so the debris would have been quite a. The debris wasn't equally spread all the way around. The corners were less debris, and the centre parts were, and that sort of makes sense because as I was stripping off the casing stones, it would tend to fall down in the middle where the bulk of it is. But so that's a natural fissure. So there's a fissure, and there you can see the casing stones. That's the northern slope of the pyramid. Here's another one of his plates from Perring, and again this one shows again the debris, and the fissure is also marked out there. You also see on the south side the debris which went all the way around. So I was able to get a reasonably old photo, and you can see that not so much at the corners, but especially in the middle of each face, quite a bit of debris, and you can see that in this photo here. So where it's all piled up around the base. So debris fields, and there's like an older picture with a lot of rubble. Another example, again when they're early excavation, that's the north side again. You can see off to the side, so north side looking to the east, and this one north side looking to the west. And we come back to this picture where he shows the debris fields, but you can also see, so when these early excavations happened, they didn't just remove all the debris, they sort of cut out trenches, I suppose you call them, in the debris. So one over here, and then one in the middle. So this, the casing stones would be there, the fissure just here. But if you look back, so you can see that's probably this was in 1909. Perring was much earlier, so maybe it got the sands of time blew in and filled it up again. They had to pull it out, but seems to be that from these two photos we can still see that the excavations around these photos around 1909, 1910, that they sort of followed the same path before as these earlier excavations there in the debris field. But yeah, so I thought it was that hole there was an early attempt to try and find entry into the pyramid based on other pyramids such as Khafre, again because the Great Pyramid has quite a unique design in its internal structures. Most of them, again, they're all unique, but the basic template sort of seems to be a reasonably low entry point or at ground level, and the chambers again very low, and so that's why that's what I thought. But it's a natural fissure. I put a link to an older video in regards to Al-Mamun's tunnel and how he knew how to dig at exactly that point and find his way in. Again, just with the exception of one pyramid, the most southerly pyramid has a southern entrance. All the other pyramids have a primary entrance to the north at least. So, but again, Al-Mamun, because the older writings, times such as Strabo, Herodotus, etc., they just back then the pyramid entrance was open, the main entrance, and I'll link that in there. But Al-Mamun, the House of Wisdom record keeping, and that was probably how Al-Mamun was able to force that tunnel in. There is like one theory that they dug outwards. I don't go for that because that tunnel, Al-Mamun's tunnel, the forced passage, is quite large, and if you're tunneling from the inside out, all that dirt would have to go somewhere, and it would basically fill up all the descending passage, or wherever you, the muck would have to go somewhere, and it would have filled up a good part of a descending passage, because even that, this doesn't give it justice, because a descending passage there is very, very narrow, and that's quite a bit. It's like 30 meters of tunneling, and so yeah, the dirt would have had to have gone somewhere, and it would have filled it up. Could have been emptied out later on, but yeah. But anyway, I'll put that link in there in regards to the Al-Mamun's tunnel, and what I believe was how they did it by reading the older records, which sort of described the heights and where the entrance was, as opposed to pyramids such as Khafre's and Khafre Pyramid, or the Middle Pyramid and others, where the interior is quite a bit different from the Great Pyramid. And apart from the Bent Pyramid and the Great Pyramid, again, yeah, all the others tend to be much more like this in their design. So anyway, yeah, this is a natural fissure. It's not carved out. It wasn't a forced entry. And that's about it. Thanks to Stefan T as well, because he in the previous video gave me an extra photo which has a good angle and showed more details of the pyramid itself. Where's that photo? But yeah, he also, and again for this link to pairing and the natural fissure that's there. I'll link this in the description. Cheers and have a good one.